Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another Tech to Elevate webinar. We're glad you could join us if you're live or if you're remote. Again, you can watch all of these recorded videos on our YouTube channel. You can find all of that at tech2elevate.org with the number 2 for our website, or you can just search for Tech to Elevate. I'll be hosting. If you have any questions, comments, and concerns, please feel free to drop those in the chat, and I'll be sure to get those to our presenter today. Today, we have Mark Mangino with a great presentation with the help of Google of how to do some really important things that I think will help make your kind of workflow and your day-to-day life a little bit easier. So, Mark.
Yeah, thanks. Uh, today, what I'm going to be touching on is Google Forms. Now, I did a webinar a few weeks ago, creating a Gmail account and a little bit of Google Docs, how to use that, setting up a blank document. So today we're going to be looking at another Google application that comes with your Gmail and diving into that. So where to begin? Like I said, I did do a webinar on creating a Gmail. So if you do not have a Gmail to sign into, you could refer back to that webinar and create a Gmail, and then you could come back to this webinar and pick up uh, where you left off. But first, we'll be logging in. So the sign in button on the right hand side and your Gmail that you created. Um, Now, navigating to Google Forms. Similar to the sign in button, next to it, you'll see 9 dots. It's supposed to mimic a keypad. It looks like a little keypad. So you'll click that button, and this page will pop up with all of your Google applications. Now, like I said, we did go over Gmail and we did Google Docs, which you would scroll down and find Google Docs. But for today, we're finding this icon, this application, Google Forms. So we'll scroll down here and we would find this application. So once you open that application, you'll notice at the top of the screen, like here uh, in this photo to the right, um, you'll have example templates to help you format. So you don't have to necessarily start from scratch if you're doing something similar to these templates. So, just for example, on this picture, the templates here given are you could make a Google form for contact information, party invitations, RSVP, T-shirt sign up, something similar in that nature. Um, you're trying you want people to answer these questions to get a majority rule. Really, you're trying to figure out data is what these Google Forms are for. Um, After you click or you pick whatever template you want, um, you can begin to start filling the information out on the Google form. So this is just another example that I found a picture of. This one is a course evaluation. So someone made this form and they put, class name, instructor, and this is what the people you're sending this form to, this is where what it will look like for them to fill in. They answer there. You will be putting the questions in. Once you figured out how you want to phrase your questions or what you want to ask, you can select, different ways for people to answer. So if we look over here to our right, this is where this would be our question one. You would type it there, and then we will choose how do we want them to answer? Multiple choice? Do we want? Are there going to be 3 correct answers out of 5? We could do the check boxes. A drop down menu would be, if you're giving them 4 options to choose from, a drop down menu would be good. Short answer and paragraph. You can use these to get more detailed information out of people. But in my opinion, uh, like I say here, open-ended questions, they cannot be asked generally on these forums. You can ask short answer questions, and you can have people write out open-endeds. So it's possible, but you're looking for that's for more detailed response. These Google Forms, it's better for the generalization data collection, like something you can gauge from. So a scale of 1 to 5, and then you can see after the Google Form, you can see, you know, what was our most popular vote on this question. You can pull that data out of the multiple choice questions. With the open-ended questions, you cannot. It's more so opinionated, and that's up to you. Uh, so it would be really up to your discretion. Um, just another small quote I like to throw them in on all my webinars. This one is: peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. So, in the context of what he was talking about, it may not have been technology and what we're talking about, but in my from my perspective, bringing it into technology, you can't force anyone to just get along with their cell phone if they don't understand how it works or what they're doing, or their laptop. They can't use it to communicate if they don't understand, and that could be frustrating. So peace can't be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. So helping you guys to understand the new digital age is important to us. So that is one thing to keep in mind. And that was really Google, the application of Google Forms. Like I said, you can look on 2 prior webinars where we did create a Gmail account, which is how you will be able to access all of those apps, such as Google Docs, Google Sheets, um, and Google Forms. Similar, the Google Docs is similar to Microsoft Word. Um, Google Sheets is similar to Microsoft Excel. Um, and Google Slides is close to PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint. So thank you. Yeah. And this is my email. If you have any questions or would like to set up an appointment to come in and visit us at one of our libraries, uh, that would be great as well. Um, but yeah, any questions too? I'm open for questions.
Thanks, Mark. I think that was a great presentation. We don't have any questions right now, but I saw one earlier about just like if you could give maybe some examples of roughly when you would use some of these, right, just to help people figure out why they might want to use it or some of the times that it might be more beneficial for them.
Yeah. So a lot of times that in my day to day that I would see people using these Google Forms is really trying to gauge something maybe for a community event. What can we incorporate in a community event, or if we gave options, how can we figure, what we would like, what people in the community would like at such community days. So, in a sense, we can use the Google form and we ask a question, what activities would you enjoy at a community day? And then we would put in one of those drop down menus on the Google form, because we don't just want them to write any answer. We need them to be, in a perimeter. What's safe. It has to be safe. It has to be allowed for kids to do and easy to supervise. And we don't want injuries, so we could use a drop down menu, and we could say, what event would you like to join at a community day? And one option would be a pickleball. The next option would be maybe cornhole. The next option could be, the can jam with the frisbee, or disc golf, something of that nature. So that's, you can use these things to gauge, or yes or no questions. Going back to just using the same example, community day. Do you have any food allergies? Yes or no? If yes, type here. That's where you could use that short answer section now. Okay, because it is a yes or no question, but if it's a yes, we need to know what allergy, right? Just to keep everyone safe. You can use that for similar things like that. School, I mean, I've seen teachers use it to kind of gauge where their students are and what they enjoy doing in the classroom more. Do they enjoy more so the lecture or a more hands-on kind of a learning game like Kahoot? So, those are all some, small examples of how you can use Google Forms or what it could be good for and how, it could help you familiarize yourself with the audience you're working with. It can really help show you where their interests come and go. So, you can be creative with it. Another reason I mentioned the templates, just because sometimes you don't even think of some scenarios you can use these forms in, but the Google form itself will give you options of templates. You may be able to scroll through and say, "Oh wow, I didn't realize I could necessarily use a form in that aspect." So, I mean, it's a good thing to keep in mind. It's a good thing to have a lookout and be just to have a awareness of, because Google itself, it comes with all these amenities. So, it's nice to learn the cool things you can do just with your email account.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that gives people a lot of different ideas because, like you said, it all just comes through Google. And so you can really get creative. I hope, those are some great examples between personal, professional, whatever you really need. Um,
Yeah.
and like Mark said, we have other videos on different Google products. Mark has a great video on actually setting up your Gmail account to get here in the first place. And so we hope that you guys enjoy this and other webinars. Again, you can find all of that at our website, tech2elevate.org with the number 2. And you can find our YouTube channel as well with all the recordings.
Yeah. And don't forget, you can play around with these applications. You won't don't be scared to break a computer. You won't break your computer just clicking in and out and just finding your way around. It may look like an obstacle course to you right now, but you just have to become familiar with the territory, and then it will become easier and easier. It's like everything else, you know it takes practice to make perfect. So,
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you all for joining this webinar, and we hope to see you later.